Welcome to the Scholarship Strategist. This is Scholarship Gopinath. Let's start our second video. Is that to dive into taking the first step. जो हमने last video में दिखाया था is that how to craft and master a letter of recommendation for M.E.X.T scholarship. So I'm not going to give you any template about this letter of recommendation because that is already given on the Japanese website. And there's also stated that you can craft your own modified letter of recommendation. If I have given अगर मैं आपको दे देता हूँ एक टेम्पलेट लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन का, तो बहुत ज़्यादा चांसेस हैं कि आप ना चाहते हुए भी उसे कॉपी करें. सो आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू डू दिस. आई एम गोइंग टू टेल यू how to craft, how to generate so that you can make your own unique letter of recommendation. So let's start. So first, इंडिया और बाकी सारे छोटे स्कूल्स में ऐसा नहीं होता कि रिकमेंडेशन लेटर्स आप टीचर्स से लिखवा दें. दे नेवर राइट. I mean, they always hesitate to write a letter of recommendation, and you find yourself in a situation where they aren't giving you a letter of recommendation and you don't know what to do, right? So you have to write it by yourself, and usually they sign, right? So I'm going to tell you how to write this so that it looks very natural. So see, when you write your letter of recommendation, the first two paragraphs is about how this teacher teaches you and what course उन्होंने आपको पढ़ाया है and कैसे वो आपको जानती हैं and so on and more about this. And the third paragraph is, जब आप jump करेंगे तो उसमें ये बताओ कि how कौन कौन से courses teach किए हैं and what qualities that your teacher observed in you as you are writing the letter of recommendation. Therefore, I am telling you. And after that, write most content related to your subject and your individuality, right? Is that if you are applying for engineering, let's suppose, or technology or STEM fields, you might get describing your letter of recommendations from your teachers those who teach you maths, physics, chemistry, biology, and other technical subjects, right? And computer science as well. Now, this is done. Let's jump into the second part of this video. Is when you ask for the letter of recommendation. So the universities or scholarship M.E.X.T might look for the teachers who have high credentials. So always ask your principal or someone who have there are some teachers in the school who are overqualified, right? Some of them are doing even done their masters, and even though they are teaching, so that kind of teachers, you can also get a letter of recommendation if you have worked under any professor outside of school. You can get that too. This is one of the best things. It's gonna improve your chances by 10 to 20%, and you'll find yourself in a higher end as compared to others. So if you have to choose the professors, choose those ones, or choose teachers, choose those ones who are very much related to your field, right? If you're applying for STEM, as I mentioned earlier, choose the teachers who teach you physics, chemistry, maths, rather than choosing those who teach you literature or languages, right? Right? If you're applying for some language and interpreter course, then you can go for this languages ones. Now, as we are heading towards the end, I'm going to tell you the pro tips on how to avoid mistakes. And this is you're not going to find in any other video, right? Is that first, make it realistic as possible. Right? That make it very realistic. Neither jump into GPT or something. Just imagine yourself, you are assessing someone, and by having that ideology in your mind, write the letter of recommendation. Make it very realistic. And the second things that always I find that students forget to inculcate is that the right credentials of the teacher. If you're adding an email ID, do confirm that the email ID is up to date and a school related email ID. Some of the schools give their school domain email ID to their teachers. If your school have, it's well and good. If not, then write down or state the most updated email ID of your teachers, because might come in future the embassy or maybe the university you're going to get your degree from is trying to it may or may not be tried, or try to get contact in your teachers and whatever you get a recommendation from. So that is important if your professors receive this, so that they can reply and you get a good chances. And other thing is avoid spelling mistakes. Avoid spelling mistakes, grammatical mistakes, sentences, because if you do that, it's gonna leave you a very bad impression, because as you know that it is crafted by someone who is already been teaching from 5 to 6 or 7 years in a school, right? आप बना रहे हैं recommendation letter, but embassies and universities going to like have a perception कि ये आपके teachers ने लिखा है जिनके पास बहुत experience है, तो you cannot afford to have a mistake in it, right? And after that, whatever the qualities that teacher is stating, if it's stating that you win a school level debate competition, you must have the proofs as well, right? You need to have, you state only those qualities which you have a proof or a written proof, right? So so you can attach with your application, so that the reviewer don't have to hesitate or don't have to think twice that he's mentioning so much of qualities whether he possesses or not. You can attach the certificates as well, your extra credentials that I talked in the last video. And other thing, all the fonts, the font face that you're going to use must be New Times Roman. Times New Roman, right? And now, this is something that is very extra, is that you can put some things in bold, right? The teacher's name, teacher's credentials, your name, and your special things that reflects your individualities, right? Like if you done a debate or you're a captain from a school team and everything, you can just put those things in bold, right? And by doing all this, I bet you can craft your own letter of recommendation in one of the best ways possible without plagiarizing from anywhere. And you can also fill those formatted letter or template that is given on the website as well. And I would say you can craft your own, because it allows you to write a lot. Like in those embassy template, you have just 4 or 5 questions, I guess, to express yourself, but try preferring a modified letter of recommendation, or just be realistic. And good luck. M.E.X.T days are going to be released in May or April. It's coming.